This is John Ward, welcoming you to another presentation of Tennessee football on home video. The story you're about to see unfold is one of adventure and achievement. It's the story of teamwork, commitment, and the will to win.
Doesn't need a lot of... Oh! He took a weapon!
Welcome back, Vols fans. Big win today. Obviously seniors, I feel like they went out well. It was really chippy just to start it off. But I think everything that we kind of talked about in that tailgate show, if y'all was here for that, we pretty much did that. Joe Milton looked great. Jalen Wright got up to his 1,000 yards. And, I feel good about what those seniors are doing. Obviously, Nico played too. But P, what are your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, start off pretty dominant. Game did get chippy, which we kind of talked about that coming into it. That Vanderbilt was going to be a little chippy and play hard in this game, and they did just what we expected. Felt like Joe played really well. I mean, 22 of 33 for about 385 through the air. I think his highest passing total since he's been a starter in his whole career. 4 touchdowns, 2 on the ground, 6 total TDs. Great send-off for him. Love to see that for him, a guy who stuck it out. We didn't have to. Chose to be a backup for, 2 seasons. And, definitely a guy, I think we're going to miss. But we're excited about Nico and seeing him in the future. But, overall, saw the game. Hate that we let them get so many points.
Yeah.
But, got the win. Pretty dominant. So, overall, can't complain too much.
Yeah, so let's actually pull up right here. Let's take a look at the stats, right? So see the Joe Milton, what is that? He was, 22 of 32 for 343. For 383. He had 4 touchdowns passing. Obviously, he had the 2 touchdowns rushing. I think we gave up 1 sack in the game. Nico was 9 for 12 for 66 yards. Whole lot of throwing the ball to the side right there. Yeah. Keaton had a great game. He had 2 touchdowns. 4 catches for 122 yards. Squirrel White was the highest targeted guy, 10 catches for 110 yards. He wasn't able to get into the end zone, but Jacob Warren got him 1. Castles got him 1. Nimrod looked good. Caleb Webb missed that throw right there at the very end from Gaston Moore. And, I just think that overall, P, like you said, it's a game that we mostly look dominant in. You would like to see us maybe – be able to do a little bit better on defense. And so, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Obviously, who's going to be coming back for the defense? We did get a couple of, we got some news that Big O went through senior day. Obviously, Tyler Barron went through it. Who else was kind of like on that fringe list? Omar Norman Lott went through it.
Wesley Walker
went through it. That was a big one. I think that's pretty much it for the guys that, Oh, you know what? John Campbell. The starting left tackle. He went through it. And I think that's pretty much it. I don't remember hearing nothing about Mincy going through it. I'm kind of, I'm proud of him for stepping up and playing, with that makeshift offensive line. But, I think that those guys played very well in this game. Hey, look, Vanderbilt is Vanderbilt, but that's an SEC team, and they do have guys. So, I think that we held up really, really well. Kind of got to work on that run blocking. But, obviously Cooper Mays going down early. A guy like Ali Lane stepping into his spot. Obviously, we're going to miss him a lot, next season. But, I think that Dane Davis is a guy that if he does come back, he can kind of be that guy for you that, like we talked about in that tailgate show. He's like a plug-and-play guy. I think that overall we should be okay just as far as what could potentially be coming back. Now, obviously, just because people go through senior day, or don't, does not necessarily mean that they're going to be coming back or that they're going to be leaving. I think that for the guys that did go through senior day, you've got to kind of get a feel for where they are if you want them back and try to entice them to come back if you feel like, we're going to need them. We just got to kind of make sure that whoever is kind of leaning more towards coming back, that we can keep them, comfortable and happy and all that good stuff. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think moving forward, we should be straight.
I agree, man. Hopefully we can get all those guys back. It's like I said, not everybody that went through senior day is going to leave. Hopefully Norman Lott comes back. Hopefully Wesley Walker Jr. comes back. It was kind of big. I don't think T-Mac went through senior day, so that's huge. Keenan Peely didn't go through senior day, which is huge. Guys like that, guys we got to definitely got to get back. We'll see if Big O tries to go pro or not. I don't know if he really had enough season to really warrant a high draft stock. If the scouts are telling you they're going to draft you, hey, do what you got to do. That's our end goal is for these guys to make it to the big leagues and get paid big bucks. That's our end goal. But if you're not getting that kind of that feedback, come on back. Let's go for another national title run one more time. And hopefully get Big O back, because we were talking about that earlier. Just assuming that Big O leaves, Norman Lott leaves. Who are our D tackles? What's our D line look like next year? Tyler Barron's gone.
Yeah.
So what does that look like next year? I think it's a huge question for us coming into it.
Oh yeah, for sure. You got to hope that Simmons does come back, because I think that towards the end of the season, once he got back and kind of got healthy, got back into the groove of playing, he was our best tackle on defense. And obviously he's going to be a guy that we hopefully can get back. Outside of that, it's kind of like a huge question mark.
But Bryson Easton's
going to be back. He hasn't really played great though.
One more guy I was thinking about.
I would say maybe like David Hobbs is a guy that hope that he can kind of get ready, for next season. But we are targeting a couple of JUCO guys, and I think at least one of those dudes could maybe step in at the tackle position for us if we can get him. It's just a lot of question marks, I think, at that position, and we really have to get that figured out. But I feel a lot better about the offensive line after what this game looked like and last week too, because we've just been getting banged up. We're going to go deeper into guys that are leaving, or at least that we think are going to be leaving, and we'll hear a lot more in these next couple of weeks about who's going to come, who's going to stay. But some of these guys, if you're going through senior day, some of these guys I think probably should not have been going through senior day. Yeah. It seems like a guy like John Campbell kind of shut it down early, and it was like, I'm going to the NFL draft. I just don't want to get hurt. And I think that's kind of like where he's at. And, again, not to tip our hand too much, but I think he's a guy that would definitely benefit from one more season with this team. I haven't seen anywhere where he is a, like draftable football player. So I think he's doing himself a disservice by trying to leave early. But, I wish him all the best for sure. Let's see, what is this area of All for Life? Good win. We need to get some speed at the linebacker position. Y'all, we are way too slow at that position. Yeah, we was definitely talking about Herring. That touchdown, the first touchdown that they scored, you could see it was a little bit of like window dressing, some motion, some, like we're faking the ball here, and it's I think it was like a toss to the wide receiver on like an end around deal, something like that. But Elijah Herring literally runs it to the wrong side, runs to the opposite side, cuts off Aaron Beasley, and that's how that play scored. So he's got to get out of the way.
I think that's exactly what we're thinking watching the game live. We got to get more athletic at the middle of our defense. Really safeties as well, but definitely at the backer position. T-Lander looked good coming into it, but we've got to get some guys like some of these 5-star guys. Hey, we got Mike Matthews, 5-star receiver. We got Nico, past season 5-star quarterback. Let's get some 5-star guys on defense. Especially in the middle of that defense, whether it's a backer, whether it's a safety, whether it's a Deckham D tackle. That's something we talked about as well. Is we don't have any freaking D tackles in this class. So we've got to do a better job recruiting and getting better guys that can really come in here and make an impact on defense. Because to me, right now we're pretty much surviving off of Pruitt guys. It's the Pruitt guys that are really kind of carrying this team right now. And Beasley's gone. So now it's time for T-Lander and Aaron Carter to step up. I think Aaron Carter, we talk about this through the season, look like he probably needs to lose a little bit of weight. Yeah. Get back to who he is, an athletic guy. So look for him to kind of trim down kind of in off season. And, maybe he can kind of be that athletic guy we're looking for in the middle.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned right now, it's Arion Carter. And, I think it's probably going to be JT starting at middle, or not at middle backer, but at our linebackers. We got to see some of Jalen Smith on special teams, and he got some plays towards the end. Yeah, he's looking better. He's looking like he's definitely getting better. Maybe some of those freshman linebackers, like Edwin Spillman. I always forget what the other guy's name is, but he's
Jordan Burns. Him. He's more the athletic guy that he's probably talking about.
Yeah. So guys like that, hopefully they can come and step up for us. But there was a play where JT was blitzing, and they were able to they threw the ball to the middle of the field. And I think it was Tank who was in coverage, and he tried to swat it, but he missed it. And literally JT comes on a blitz, right? and then he makes that tackle 30 yards down the football field. That's the kind of stuff that you can't really coach. And I just feel like this defense is going to take a gigantic leap forward. But I do know that everyone really wants to talk about Nico. And to me, he has continued to impress. What was probably, you think, the best play that you saw out of Nico?
I can't remember the exact play, but it was a play I know he got out of his hand. I want to say it was, I don't know if he stuck it in the running back's belly or what, but it was a pass out to his left, was a laser. I want to say it was an out route. Can't remember if it was to a tight end. I can't remember the play, but I can remember, dang, that ball had some zip on it. What I mean? He had several plays like that, and several of them were drops. His guys right in the hand, several drops. He just looked so in command, so in control, so calm, so cool, so collected. He's a guy, to me, seems like he's ready. You want to see him put on, a little bit of weight, which I don't think, a lot of people say it's a deal breaker for him. It's not a deal breaker for him. He could probably play the way he's at now. I think he'll be fine. We saw him throw a guy off the end.
I was going to say, to me, that was the best play that I saw out of him because everyone keeps on talking about, he needs to gain weight, you have to understand that, probably the average quarterback's weight in college is probably about like somewhere between 200 to like 215 pounds. Nico is right in that area. Now, he's tall, so he may look a little bit skinnier to some people, but something that P always says is, hey, there's an inner strength, and Nico definitely has it. We see him throwing off a defensive end, who has him wrapped up around his neck. He throws him off, and he keeps on running. Kind of got tripped up by that same guy. So, I guess that's probably, for me, that's where I would want to see the extra weight added, because you take a play like that, where he's probably about 210-ish pounds, something like that, and you add another 10 to 15 pounds of muscle. Now he's really running through that. And that is when he gets to a ridiculous level. But I feel like the whole notion of he has to gain weight before he can play, to me, that's kind of silly. You know what I mean? I don't think that that's necessary.
Yeah. And, you can't even really hit the quarterbacks. You can't hit the quarterbacks these days. So, I think he'll be fine the way he's at. But, you would feel more comfortable with him, because we kind of talk about that too, is, as chippy as that game got, hey, do you still put Nico in here? Right. And, maybe he's a little bit beefier guy. You don't feel quite as worried about that. But I think, like you said, man, there's a lot of truth to that inner strength. And I think I think he'll be fine, regardless.
Yeah, for sure. So I've got Vol for life. I think it was talking about Slaughter moving back to safety. I would like to see that too. I just don't think that he's a great cornerback. He had a couple of good games. I think it was one last season, or it's maybe like one or two. Yeah, where he got that pick. But I was never crazy about him necessarily at cornerback, and he could probably help us out a lot more at safety. If you look at a guy like Turrentine, who seems to always dive at people's ankles, you want to get more physical at that position for sure, especially if Wesley Walker is going to try to go into the draft. Now, I don't know what Wesley Walker's injury is, but to me, it's just, I don't know, like him going through senior day, I'm just not sure. Like, is he really just trying to leave, go into the league, or is he done playing football or what? But to me, he's a guy that should definitely try to come back, given what his injury circumstances are. But who knows what his draft stock looks like? I'm sure he's got guys who are telling him something.
He's a guy definitely showed up for us. Was definitely a valuable player to us. But will the scouts look at him the same way? I think he had a good season. He did have some shortcomings as well. But he played solid overall. So we'll see if he comes back or not. But I think putting Slaughter at safety, or even a star position, which is where he started with under Pruitt, would be a good move for him, because we need to get more athletic at the corner position. We need guys that can play man coverage, that can match a guy across the whole field. And we saw Ricky Gibson a little bit tonight. And, he looked really good.
He looked really good. He's looked better, I would say, as the season has gone on. And we kind of looked at his high school film and said, well, this is a guy that doesn't get beat deep. His technique is beautiful. And I'm just happy to see that he's not going backwards with that. And he's also willing to come up and help you tackle. He's a physical corner. And he hasn't, he can still gain at least another 10 to 15 pounds. And I think that as he gains weight, he may get even better, like even in coverage and everything else. So, I think he could potentially, he's an NFL player. I would just say that. Just from what I've seen, in the early stages of him playing at Tennessee.
True freshman.
Yeah, he looks like he could for sure be an NFL guy. We need for the other guys to kind of step up. Like you said, Pete, we got to get some better athletes out there. Hopefully, a guy like Jordan Matthews can step up, or maybe he moves around somewhere. And then, obviously John Slaughter as a true freshman. He's a guy that,
I love John Slaughter.
Would love to kind of see him back there too. I think he's a great athlete. He's physical. I think he gives you everything that you want in a safety. But I feel like he's more of a strong safety. I think that he would fit in better with kind of like what Tank played. because Tank was mostly, more of the strong kind of like box guy, as opposed to, like being more of a free guy, which I think that he could play both. But I would like to see him playing strong and maybe like Wesley Walker probably playing like free.
I'll tell you a guy that, heck, I always forget about, and I don't know what his injury was, but Christian Charles is a guy. We haven't heard from him. I mean, he missed the whole season. But he was a guy that, you heard a lot of buzz about him last season, kind of during camp, and again this season. Didn't really see him play, but he's played pretty much every position, from corner to safety. I think it's a little star as well. So he's done a little bit of everything. So he's kind of that, maybe he's that free safety guy. And, John, can be your strong safety. You put Nico in there at your star. But heck, I mean, T-Mac.
Yeah. T-Mac might be coming back. I mean, because he didn't go through the senior day stuff either.
So
as far as I know. So
I feel pretty good about what we potentially have come back.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the point we're at. We talked about this earlier. Is we're ready to see who's leaving, so we can kind of see what this roster looks like. Are we really going to be counting on any of these young guys to step up?
Yeah.
Obviously, the backers, T-Lander and Carter are going to have to really step up.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have some guys up front. Somebody asked to replace Tyler Barron. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah. Who's going to be that run stopping in?
Yeah. Who's that guy? Because right now it's Dominic Bailey. And who's the other one? You talk about Tyree Weathersby.
Yeah, Weathersby.
I think he has potential to be a stud.
Yeah, so, I think that he could step into that role, but obviously we haven't seen him play in college yet to be able to really, determine if that's a place that he could fit in at. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that maybe could, for sure, man. The transfer portal is probably going to be pretty heavy on that front. But we'll see in these next coming weeks. Now, something else that we talked about pregame, in that tailgate show was if we open up this offense more, that I was going to be irate with Coach Heupel. And that's exactly what we did. We saw a lot more vertical passes. And I don't want to hear this stuff about, this is Vandy, so we can do it up against them. No. Okay. Like, that's still an SEC team. And we're playing up against Vandy with, like, pretty much a makeshift offensive line. I think the only start on that line, especially towards the really pretty much for most of the game, was Gerald Mincy. And Gerald Mincy's banged up, So, I mean, and we still held up well. And I felt like our offensive line held up well the entire season. But you see, whenever you open it up and go vertical with Joe Milton, he's starting to hit these plays, and the offense just looks a lot better. So I'm hoping that moving forward, Josh Heupel will stick to that. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he lost confidence in his team or what the deal was with that. But that kind of pissed you off because there were several games where we really could have used that sort of an offensive game plan.
And, just looking back over the season, that was very, really think about it. It was very mind-boggling. Some of the offensive play calling, some of the offensive series that we put out. I mean, I don't know what the play calling was. I just don't get it. I feel like we just kind of just wasted the whole season. I thought we could have done a lot more if we were calling the plays, that we feel like could be successful. I mean, I like to play calling all season. So we'll kind of see how this bowl game looks. Interested to see, who are going to be the opt-outs. Does Joe Milton opt out, and do we get to see Nico for a full game and see him go out here and win us a ball game?
That would be interesting.
I would kind of like to see that. I'd almost encourage Joe to sit out. I mean, because because what are you going to gain from one more bowl game? You're not going to gain much from it. You have everything to lose, really nothing to gain. So maybe he opts out, but just kind of knowing Joe and who he's been since he's been at Tennessee for us, the only Joe
I think he's going to go. Yeah,
I think he's going to go. He's given us opportunity since he's been here, and a lot of people bash him, but I think he's a guy. I mean, he has my respect.
Oh, for sure.
I'm going to miss him. I am excited to see what we look like after Joe.
Yeah,
but I'm definitely going to miss him and appreciate all he's given to this university.
Yeah, I feel like there's several players that we could feel the same way about the tight ends. I mean, shoot, dude, Castles has just gotten better and better. Callie, I mean, he's just gotten better and better and better. Castles. Obviously Jacob Warren is a guy that just really thugged it out for us. And I mean, we're going to miss both of those guys, especially next season. We don't really have a tight end. We saw some of is his name Hunter Salmon?
I think it's Hunter Salmon.
So we got to see some of him. We've seen some spurts of him, and I think he's a solid player, but he's definitely got a ways to go to be productive in this offense. It's him and Ethan Davis, and I keep on, harping on that. But that tight end position is going to be critical. That for sure is a place where we're going to have to go to that transfer portal and get some more guys. But I'm happy, and I'm proud of all of our players. I feel like our coaches kind of let us down this season. And I'm still very interested to see what's going to happen with Herring at linebacker in this offseason. I think that he gets moved. But, if you're talking about guys opting out, I think that Joe Milton did a good job with helping his draft stock today. I think that he's a guy that because of his skill set, scouts are going to be drooling all over him. So, like, if he does anything that even resembles being competent, they're going to like want to see, like, maybe he might need to play one more game just to say, okay, prove to us that wasn't some fluke. If he does that back to back, I think he can work himself into like a first round, like maybe not first round, but he can work himself up the draft board a lot. And then you kind of couple that with a good, combine and all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think maybe he could. I mean, because we were talking about this live when we were watching the game.
He could also go backwards.
Some of the throws that he was making. Yeah. I mean, everybody knows the arm talent, but just the throws that he's making, the zip, the ball's getting there. Oh my gosh, if he does that again in the bowl game, and then if he goes to his Combine Pro Day, I mean, he's gonna light it on fire.
Yeah,
and I mean, I would not be surprised if a team falls in love with it and says, "Man, this is unbelievable." Because I mean, when is the last time you seen a guy can throw the ball 90 yards?
Yeah, I've never seen that. Yeah, I've never seen somebody with the type of talent. I mean, his upside is ridiculous.
It's through the roof. And so I think somebody may fall in love with him and say, hey, we're gonna freaking draft this guy in the first round. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. And if the team did it, I would say, hey, I 100% get why he did that. Because I mean, you see the way he played today, and we've seen spurts of it throughout the season. I mean, I know if I'm an NFL scout, and I haven't seen a guy like that, and I say, man, I feel like I could work this guy. I feel like I could get the most out of him, and I was probably the team takes a chance on him, and hopefully he lives up to the hype because I think he can be a guy.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him and really all of our players who are going to go to the NFL. I'd love to see them get into a system and on a team that works well for their skill sets, because that's going to be the biggest thing, because NFL, I mean, it is a business. College is same way. You want to go to a place that is a good fit for you. So I just hope that he can go to a place that's a good fit for him, because if he is productive in the NFL, again, if any of our players are, it's going to look really good. It always helps us, the prospects that we're trying to get up on campus. It's going to put our school in a much brighter light. So, hopefully he can do it, man. But yeah, I'm curious and anxious to see what bowl we're going to be going to, and obviously we've got Georgia's playing Georgia Tech. We're not see Georgia lose, and who else is playing tonight? That really means something.
It's another big one. What was the other big one? It's not Oregon played last night. It's another big one.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, but Bama barely beat Auburn on that freaking 4th and goal, whatever. That was
31-yard line.
That was crazy. So I never really cheer for Alabama, but I'm happy that they won, because if they would have lost, inside of my mind, the SEC championship would have been so one-sided with the penalties that Georgia would have been able to just walk in there. Georgia's the last team I want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, me too.
And Michigan looks like they're going to be in.
Michigan's in. That was a pretty good game. It would have been a pretty good game. Missed the tail end of it, but I think it was about under 30 seconds left, and Ohio State was driving. I want to say that they threw a pick at the plus 22-yard line with a chance to go up and tie the game up and potentially take the lead with an extra point. So another good game, in that series. I mean, but do you feel confident that Michigan has any chance?
No.
To be able to stop
Georgia. Michigan has no chance against any SEC team. I think if Florida State gets in, Florida State beats them. Texas gets in, Texas beats them. They have no chance against those types of teams. Now, maybe Washington, if Washington or Oregon gets in, they have a chance against those guys. But
I mean, I was going to say, I think outside of Bama, I would say Texas would be the team that I'd say has the best chance. Just because we've seen them go toe-to-toe with Bama and Tuscaloosa. So we know they're not scared of the moment. They know they go toe-to-toe with the big boys. And so, Steve Sarkisian's been in this league, understands it. And so Texas team that I'm quietly kind of rooting for behind the scenes is kind of, that's kind of my fail-safe. If Bama lets us down, hey, I'm all in on Texas, because I don't believe a Washington can do it, Oregon can do it.
I mean, there's nobody else who can do it. And, obviously Florida State's quarterback is down. The other game we was thinking about was probably Florida and Florida State. So that's, that'll be interesting to see. But, outside of that, it's just going to be very interesting. I think that a lot of people talking about us going to the Gator Bowl, maybe playing up against like North Carolina. So we'll see. But, we'll have a lot more information on that, as things kind of start to come out. We're going to keep this one short tonight, though. We did want to come in and chat it up with y'all. So, appreciate y'all for tuning in. And, we are going to we're going to wrap it up, but we'll catch y'all on the next one. And we'll have a whole lot of video, a whole lot of content coming out this week. So thank y'all as always. Peace.